Amara Bello had always been the kind of woman who stayed calm when everyone else lost control. She was 27 and never ashamed of the people she loved. But on the morning of her wedding, even Amara felt her courage shake. A sound came from the road. Put, 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 put. Every head turned. An old blue scooter rolled toward the hotel gate. One mirror was missing. The front light was cracked, and smoke followed behind it. The rider wore a brown jacket, dark trousers, and a black helmet. The crowd went silent. Then someone laughed. "Please tell me that is not the groom," Amara's cousin Laura said. More laughter followed. Amara stood outside in her wedding dress. Her mother, Mrs. Bello, gripped her arm. "Amara," she whispered, "do not tell me Daniel came here on that thing." Amara knew the way he sat. She knew the brown jacket. She had sewn one of its loose buttons herself. "It is him," she said. Her mother's face changed. "This cannot be happening." The scooter coughed and stopped beside a line of luxury cars. Daniel placed one foot on the ground and tried to start it again, but the engine gave one weak sound and died. A man near the gate raised his phone and began recording. "This wedding is already better than a comedy show," he said. Amara heard every word. Her cheeks became hot, but she did not move. Her father, Chief Bello, pushed through the guests. He wore a gold outfit and carried himself like a man who believed every eye should be on him. "What is this?" he shouted. Daniel removed his helmet. His hair was untidy from the ride, but his face was calm. "Good morning, sir," he said. "Do not good morning me," Chief Bello replied. "Where is the car I told you to rent?" Daniel looked at the cars around him. "I did not rent one. I can see that." The guests laughed again. Daniel got off the scooter and placed the helmet on the seat. "The scooter brought me here safely." "Safely?" Laura called. "It nearly died before you did." The laughter became louder. Amara turned toward Laura. "That is enough." Laura lifted both hands. "I am only saying what everyone is thinking." "No," Amara said. "You are saying it because you enjoy hurting people." The smile left Laura's face. Chief Bello walked closer to Daniel. "You promised me you would not disgrace my family today." "I made no such promise," Daniel said. Chief Bello's eyes widened. "What did you say?" "I promised Amara that I would come and marry her. I am here." "You came looking like a delivery rider." Daniel glanced at his clothes. "My suit is inside." "That is not the point," Chief Bello snapped. "People are watching." Daniel looked around at the phones, smiling faces, and guests whispering. "Yes, sir. I noticed." Mrs. Bello pulled Amara aside. "Go inside before this gets worse." "He is my groom," Amara said. "And your groom arrived on a broken scooter." "So?" Her mother blinked. "These people are important. Your father spent more money on this wedding than most people earn in 10 years. I did not ask him to. This is not the time to be stubborn." Amara looked at Daniel. He stood alone beside the scooter while guards watched him as if he did not belong. He had never claimed to be rich. He said he lived simply, worked hard, and did not care about showing off. She loved him because he listened and stayed when life became hard. Yet one question pushed into her mind. Why had he not warned her? Before she could speak, a polished red car stopped at the gate. Victor Hale stepped out wearing a white designer suit. He was the man her father had once wanted her to marry. Victor looked at the scooter and laughed. "So the stories were true," he said. "You chose this man over me." Amara tightened her grip on her flowers. "Victor, leave." He ignored her and walked toward Daniel. "Do you need money for fuel, friend?" Daniel met his eyes. "No." "Maybe money for a new scooter?" "No." Victor smiled at the crowd. He is proud. A poor man needs something to keep. Chief Bello did not stop him. That hurt Amara more than the laughter. Daniel picked up a small black bag from the scooter. Victor blocked his path. "The hotel entrance is for wedding guests." "I am the groom." "Then prove it. Where is your car? Where are your friends? Where is your family?" Daniel looked toward Amara. For the first time, pain showed in his eyes. Amara stepped down one stair. Her mother grabbed her dress. Do not go near him. Amara pulled free. Chief Bello pointed at Daniel. Leave, find a proper car, and return like a man worthy of my daughter. Daniel remained still. And if I refuse? Then there will be no wedding. The crowd became quiet. Amara reached the bottom step and stood between them. There will be a wedding, she said. Chief Bello stared at her. Go inside. No, Amara, I am warning you. And I am telling you that nobody will chase Daniel away. Victor shook his head. You are throwing your life away. Amara turned to Daniel. His jacket was dusty, his scooter was broken, and the crowd was waiting for her to feel ashamed. She held out her hand. Daniel looked at it but did not take it. Are you sure? He asked. Amara swallowed the fear in her throat. I am sure about you, but after today you will explain everything. Daniel's eyes softened. He took her hand. Someone laughed again. Daniel turned toward the hotel doors, holding Amara's hand. He did not look angry or defeated. He looked like a man who had learned exactly who stood with him when he appeared to have nothing. As they walked past the laughing guests, a black phone inside Daniel's bag began to ring. The black phone kept ringing inside Daniel's bag as he and Amara walked toward the hotel doors. Amara heard it. Daniel reached inside, ended the call, and hid the screen. The phone was newer and more expensive than the simple one he used every day. Before she could ask about it, Chief Bello shouted behind them. Stop right there. Daniel and Amara turned. Chief Bello pushed through the guests with Mrs. Bello behind him. Victor followed them, wearing a smile that made Amara feel sick. Chief Bello pointed toward the road. I gave you one clear order. Leave and return in a proper car. And I gave you my answer, Amara said. Daniel is not leaving. You are speaking to your father. I know exactly who I am speaking to. Mrs. Bello stepped between them. Please, both of you. Everyone is watching. Guests stood near the entrance with their phones raised, smiling as if her pain was part of the wedding show. That is what you care about? Amara asked. People watching? Her mother lowered her voice. I care about your future. My future is standing beside me. Victor laughed softly. That is a very sad future. Daniel took one slow step toward him. You have said enough. Victor lifted his chin. Or what? You will chase me on your scooter. Several guests laughed again. Daniel's hand tightened around Amara's. He did not shout or strike Victor. He only stared until Victor's smile weakened. Chief Bello moved in front of Daniel. Do not threaten my guest. He is not threatening him, Amara said. Victor is the one insulting my husband. He is not your husband yet, Chief Bello snapped. The words hurt. The vows had not been spoken, and her father was using that fact like a weapon. Mrs. Bello touched Amara's shoulder. Come upstairs with me. We can talk in private. No. Every insult happened in public. My answer will be public too. Chief Bello breathed hard. Then hear me clearly. If you enter that hall with him, you are choosing him over your family. Amara stared at him. Why are you making me choose? Because you have forgotten what this family has done for you. You raised me to know right from wrong. I raised you to use your head. I am using it. No, he shouted. You are throwing your life away for a man who came to his wedding without pride. Daniel finally spoke. A car does not give a man pride. Chief Bello turned on him. You should be ashamed to speak. Why? Look at you. Daniel looked down at his dusty jacket and then back at him. I know what I am wearing. You came here with nothing. I came here to marry Amara. That is not enough. It is enough for me, Amara said. Mrs. Bello looked afraid. Love does not pay bills. Love does not build a home. Amara faced her. Daniel works. He has never asked me for money. Then where is the proof? Chief Bello asked. Where is his house, his company, or anyone important who knows him? Daniel's face remained calm. Not every important thing must be shown. Victor clapped once. Beautiful words from a man with a dead scooter. Amara turned toward him. Why are you still here? Because I care about you. No, you care about winning. Victor's face changed. I came because your father invited me. You invited the man you wanted me to marry to watch this wedding? Chief Bello did not answer. She looked from her father to Victor. You planned this. Chief Bello shook his head. Do not be foolish. You expected Daniel to fail. You wanted Victor here so you could shame me. I wanted you to see the difference between them. I see it, she said. Daniel is standing beside me while Victor is laughing at me. Victor stepped closer. I am not laughing at you, Amara. I am trying to save you. From what? From waking up with no money, no help, and no way out. Daniel's eyes moved to Victor. You think money makes you better than everyone. It makes life easier. It also makes weak men loud. The guests gasped. Victor took one angry step forward, but Chief Bello held out his arm. This ends now, Chief Bello said. He faced Amara. Go inside alone, and I may still forgive this. Amara's chest hurt. Forgive me for loving the man I chose? For embarrassing us. You embarrassed yourself. Mrs. Bello covered her mouth. Chief Bello's face hardened. If you marry him, you will lose your job at Bello Holdings, your salary, your car, and the apartment I bought. The guests became quiet again. Amara felt Daniel turn toward her. Amara, he said softly. You do not have to answer now. Yes, I do. Her father folded his arms. Think before you speak. She looked at the hotel, the flowers, the cameras, and the people waiting to judge her. Then she looked at Daniel. He did not beg her to stay. He allowed her to choose. If you're enjoying this video so far, consider subscribing to my small channel. My wife promised to make me chocolate chip cookies if I hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of 2026. So it would mean the world to me. That's it, and thanks for listening this far. Now let's continue. Amara faced her father. Keep the job, Mrs. Bello gasped. Amara, keep the car too. Chief Bello stared at her. You cannot mean that. I do. And the apartment? I will leave it. Victor shook his head. You have no idea what you are giving up. Amara looked at him. You have no idea what I refuse to become. Chief Bello's voice dropped. Once you walk through those doors with him, do not come back asking for help. Daniel moved closer to Amara. Sir, you do not need to punish her because you dislike me. This has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me. Chief Bello pointed at his chest. Then take her, feed her, protect her, give her the life she thinks you can give. Daniel did not look away. I will. Victor laughed again, but this time nobody joined him. Amara's heart beat hard. Daniel was kind, but she knew little about his work or money. For 1 second, fear touched her. Daniel saw it. You can still change your mind, he whispered. She searched his face. Do you want me to? No. Then stop asking. A small smile appeared on his lips. They turned toward the entrance, but Victor walked around them and blocked the door. One final chance, he said. Amara frowned. Move. Come with me. The car is waiting. Leave this place, and I will make sure nobody blames you. Daniel stayed silent. Victor held out his hand. I can give you a house, your own company, and your family back. All you must do is leave him. Amara looked at his hand as the guests watched. You think this is love? She asked. I think this is sense. No, this is a deal. It is a better deal than poverty. Amara slapped his hand away. I would rather struggle with a good man than live in a palace with someone who enjoys making others feel small. Victor's face turned red. You will regret saying that. Move. He looked at Daniel. When she comes crying to me, I will remind her of today. Daniel stepped forward until only a small space remained between them. She will never need to cry to you. Something in Daniel's voice made Victor move aside. Amara and Daniel entered the hotel. Chief Bello ordered the guests to follow. Mrs. Bello remained near the door, wiping her eyes, while Victor stared at the old scooter. Inside, white flowers and gold cloth covered the hall. Guests entered slowly, still whispering. Amara leaned toward Daniel. That phone in your bag, she said. Whose call was that? Daniel looked ahead. Someone from work. You never used that phone. I only use it for certain matters. What matters? He stopped beside the doors leading to the wedding hall. I will explain. When? After the ceremony. Amara wanted to press him, but her father was coming and the wedding planner was calling everyone inside. Trust me a little longer. She nodded, though questions crowded her mind. She wanted to believe him, yet the hidden phone and his strange calm made her wonder how much of Daniel's life had been kept from her. Still, she refused to question him before their vows in that moment. Daniel stepped away and entered a quiet side room. He closed the door, opened his bag, and took out the black phone. It rang again. He answered in a low voice. Yes. A man spoke quickly on the other end. Daniel listened, then glanced toward the door. No changes, he said. Continue with the plan exactly as we agreed. Daniel ended the call, placed the black phone inside his bag, took a slow breath, and opened the door. Amara was waiting in the hallway. You said that was someone from work, she said. It was. What plan were you talking about? Daniel looked toward the wedding hall. Music was already playing inside, and the wedding planner was waving at them from the far end of the hall. I cannot explain everything now, he said. Amara folded her arms. That is the second time you have said that. I know. You arrived on a broken scooter without warning me. You have a phone I have never seen, and now you are giving secret orders behind a locked door. Daniel lowered his voice. Nothing I am doing will hurt you. That is not an answer. No, it is not. Then give me one. He looked at her with tired eyes. Please let us finish the ceremony first. After that, I will tell you what I can. What you can. What I should have told you sooner. Before Amara could reply, the wedding planner rushed toward them. You both need to get ready now, she said. The guests are seated. The pastor is waiting, and your father is asking if the wedding has been canceled. It has not been canceled, Amara said. The planner looked at Daniel's dusty jacket. Sir, your changing room is this way. Daniel nodded, but Amara caught his hand before he could leave. Do not disappear again, she said. I will not. Do not make me regret standing beside you. Daniel's face softened. I would rather lose everything than do that. He walked into the changing room. Amara followed the planner to the bridal room, where her mother and two cousins waited. Mrs. Bello stood near the mirror with tears in her eyes. Laura sat on a chair, looking annoyed. So you are truly going ahead with this? Mrs. Bello asked. Yes. After what your father said? Yes. Laura laughed. You say yes as if you are proud. Amara faced her. I am proud that I did not join all of you in treating a good man like dirt. You do not even know if he is good, Laura replied. A good man would not bring shame to his bride. He came to marry me. That is what matters. In a broken jacket and on a machine that sounded like it was begging for death, Mrs. Bello raised one hand. Enough, Laura. Laura stood. I am only trying to help her. No, Amara said. You are trying to make me feel foolish. Maybe because you are being foolish. Amara stepped closer. Then leave. Laura blinked. What? Leave the bridal room. Leave the wedding too if you cannot show respect. You cannot throw me out. This is my wedding. Laura looked at Mrs. Bello for help. When none came, she grabbed her bag and walked out. Mrs. Bello waited until the door closed. You are pushing everyone away. I am asking them to stop hurting the man I love. Her mother sat beside her. Yet you look worried. Because Daniel is hiding something. Mrs. Bello took her hand. Come home with us. We can end this quietly. Amara shook her head. I will not leave him because he has secrets. I will ask him for the truth. And if the truth is bad, then I will face it after I hear it from him. A knock came at the door. The wedding planner entered and smiled nervously. It is time. Across the hallway, Daniel stood before a mirror in a plain dark suit. It was clean but old, and the sleeves were short. Victor entered without knocking. Daniel saw him in the mirror. This room is private. Victor closed the door. I wanted to see the famous wedding suit. You have seen it. Now leave. Victor looked him over. No fine cloth, no gold watch, no costly shoes. Daniel faced him. Why does that trouble you? It does not trouble me. It makes me laugh. Then laugh and go. Victor's smile disappeared. You think you won because she chose you outside. This is not a game. Some men are born to win, and others are born to watch. Daniel picked up his bag. You speak like a man who is afraid. Afraid of you? Yes. Victor moved closer. What could a man like you take from me? Daniel met his eyes. Amara already chose me. Maybe that is what hurts. Victor's jaw tightened. She will understand her mistake. Not today. Today is only the beginning. Daniel opened the door. Then watch carefully. When Daniel entered the wedding hall, the guests turned and began whispering. That suit looks borrowed, one woman said. Maybe the hotel cleaner gave it to him, a man answered. Daniel kept walking. At the front, Chief Bello stood beside Mrs. Bello without smiling. Amara entered with her uncle. Everyone rose as her eyes searched the room and found Daniel. She saw his simple suit and smiled. Daniel smiled back. The music stopped, and the pastor spoke about trust, love, and standing together. Daniel ignored the guests and kept his eyes on Amara. The pastor asked, "Who gives this woman to be married?" Chief Bello was meant to answer, but he remained silent. The hall became still. Mrs. Bello touched his arm. "Say it." Chief Bello looked at Daniel. "I cannot give my daughter to a man who cannot care for her." Amara's uncle slowly released her hand. "Father," Amara said, "do not do this. I warned you." The pastor cleared his throat. "This should have been handled before the ceremony. I tried." She refused to listen. Amara stepped forward. "You are trying to shame me. I am trying to save you." Victor rose from his seat. "Perhaps the groom can answer one simple question." Amara turned. "Sit down." Victor ignored her. "Daniel, how do you plan to support her?" The guests began whispering again. Daniel looked at the pastor. "May we continue?" Victor laughed. "That is not an answer. This is not your wedding. But it is a fair question. Where will she live?" Daniel stayed silent. "What work do you do?" Victor asked. "How much do you earn? Do you even have enough money to repair that scooter?" A few guests laughed. Amara's face burned. "Stop this now." Victor spread his hands. "Everyone wants to know." Daniel looked across the hall. "You do not have a right to know everything about my life." Chief Bello stepped forward. "You want my daughter, yet you refuse to explain how you will feed her? I have never asked Amara or your family for money. That does not prove anything. I work." "Where?" Daniel's eyes hardened. "That is private." Victor smiled. "Private means there is nothing." Daniel turned to him. "No. Private means I will not perform for men who have already decided to hate me." The laughter stopped. Chief Bello pointed toward the doors. "A real man would answer." Daniel spoke calmly. "A real man does not need to shout about what he owns." Victor moved into the aisle. "Then say it quietly. Tell us your job." Daniel glanced at Amara. She was watching him closely. "I manage business matters," he said. "What kind of business?" Chief Bello asked. "Several kinds." Victor laughed. "That sounds like a lie." Daniel did not react. Amara walked to him. "Daniel, I am not asking because of them. I am asking because I need to understand. Why will you not tell us?" His expression changed when he looked at her. "Because once I do, this room will change." "What does that mean?" "It means people may stop showing us who they really are." She searched his face. "Is that what today is about?" "Partly." Chief Bello shook his head. "More riddles." The pastor raised both hands. "The bride and groom must decide what they want." "I know what I want," Amara said. "So do I," Daniel replied. Victor pointed at him. "Then answer the question." Daniel faced the hall. "No." A shocked sound passed through the room. "I will not speak about my money to earn your respect," he continued. "If my clothes, my scooter, and my silence are enough to make you cruel, then anything I say will come too late." Victor's face tightened. You have no money. Daniel looked at him with a calm that made Amara uneasy. Believe whatever helps you sleep. Then Daniel turned back to the pastor and held out his hand to Amara. She placed her hand in his, but as the pastor began again, one thought would not leave her mind. The pastor began speaking again, but Amara barely heard him. Daniel's hand was warm around hers, yet his calm no longer felt simple. It felt planned, as if he had been waiting for this moment all day. Why did a man with nothing stand so calmly before people who believed they could destroy him? The answer came when Daniel squeezed Amara's hand and the pastor asked them to face each other. Daniel quietly looked at her as if no one else was there. Amara Bello, he said, I do not promise that every day will be easy. I do not promise that people will always understand us. But I promise that I will stand beside you, tell you the truth, and never make you feel alone. Amara held his eyes. Even so, when the pastor asked if she accepted Daniel as her husband, she answered, I do. Daniel gave the same answer, and the pastor joined their hands. A few people clapped. When the ceremony ended, Daniel leaned close to Amara. Thank you for trusting me. I am still waiting for answers, she whispered. You will get them. When? Soon. That word is beginning to annoy me. Daniel almost smiled. I understand. The doors to the reception hall opened, and music filled the air. The room looked beautiful, but the guests carried the same ugly mood inside with them. As Daniel and Amara entered, some people clapped while others whispered about his old suit, his dead scooter, and the way Chief Bello had refused to bless the marriage. Amara tried to ignore them. She and Daniel reached the main table, but Chief Bello took the seat farthest from Daniel. Mrs. Bello sat beside him, twisting a cloth in her hands. The host raised a glass. Let us welcome the newly married couple. A weak cheer moved through the hall. Victor sat at a table close to the front. Food was served, and for a few minutes the room became calmer. Daniel touched none of his meal. Are you all right? Amara asked. I am. You have not eaten. I am thinking. About your plan? Daniel looked at her. About what comes next. Then tell me. Before he could answer, the host tapped the microphone. We will now hear from family and friends. Laura hurried to the stage first. She had returned after leaving the bridal room, and her smile told Amara that she had not come to make peace. My dear cousin, Laura began, you have always been brave, sometimes too brave. Today, you proved that you can follow your heart even when everyone else sees danger. A few guests laughed softly. Amara's face tightened. Laura continued, I only hope love is enough to repair scooters, pay rent, and buy food. The laughter grew louder. Daniel remained seated. Amara pushed her chair back, but Daniel touched her hand. Let her finish. Why? Because every word tells us who she is. Laura raised her glass. To Amara and Daniel. May their love last longer than his scooter. The room burst into laughter. Amara stood. Laura, leave the stage. Laura blinked. It was only a joke. No, it was cruel. Chief Bello spoke from his seat. Sit down, Amara. Do not create another scene. She created it. It is your wedding. Learn to smile. Amara stared at her father. You want me to smile while people insult my husband? Daniel stood slowly. Amara, please. She turned to him. Why are you letting them do this? Because their words cannot change me. They are hurting you. They are showing me something useful. What? Who deserves a place in our life after today? The room grew quiet enough for several guests to hear him. Laura stepped down without another word. The host tried to save the moment. Perhaps someone else would like to speak. Victor rose. I would. Amara's stomach tightened. No. Victor walked toward the stage. Do not worry. I brought a wedding gift. He took the microphone and smiled at the crowd. I have known Amara's family for many years. Chief Bello is a great businessman, and Mrs. Bello is a woman of class. Amara also grew up with every comfort. Daniel watched him without moving. Victor reached into his pocket and pulled out a thick white envelope. Daniel, please come forward. Daniel stayed beside Amara. Victor shook the envelope. Do not be shy. What is it? Daniel asked. A small gift from one man to another. Daniel walked to the stage. The guests leaned closer. Victor held out the envelope. There is enough money here to repair your scooter. If it cannot be repaired, perhaps you can buy a better one. Laughter filled the hall again. Daniel looked at the envelope but did not take it. Victor smiled wider. Go on. You need it. No, I do not. Pride will not carry your wife home. Daniel took the envelope at last. Victor turned toward the guests as if he had won. But Daniel opened it, removed the money, and counted it slowly. Victor frowned. What are you doing? Making sure it is all here. More laughter followed. Daniel finished counting, placed the money back inside, and held out the envelope. Victor stared at it. Keep it. I do not want it. You need it more than I do. Daniel pushed the envelope into Victor's hand. Then give it to someone who asked. Victor's smile disappeared. You think you are too good for my help? No. I think help given to shame someone is not help. The room went silent. Victor lowered the microphone. Be careful. Daniel took it from him. You have spent this entire day trying to prove that you are better than me because of your clothes, your car, and your money. But a man's value is not measured by what he drives or what he wears. It is measured by how he treats people when he believes they have nothing to offer him. Several guests looked away. Daniel continued. You saw an old scooter and decided I was worthless. You saw a simple suit and decided I should be mocked. You did not ask whether I was honest, whether I worked hard, or whether I loved Amara. You only asked what I owned. Victor stepped closer. Do not lecture me. Daniel held his gaze. Then stop giving me reasons. A few guests clapped. More people joined. Victor's face turned red. He grabbed the envelope and left the stage. Daniel returned the microphone to the host and walked back to Amara. She stood and took his hand. That was the first clear thing you have said all day, she whispered. There will be more. Chief Bello suddenly rose from his chair. No, there will be no more speeches from you. He walked to the stage and took the microphone. Mrs. Bello followed him with fear in her eyes. Please, she said. Not here. This must be said here, Chief Bello replied. Amara stepped forward. Father, enough. He looked across the hall. Everyone in this room knows that I worked for years to build Bello Holdings. I plan to pass part of that company to my daughter. Amara's throat tightened. Chief Bello looked directly at Daniel. But a person who rejects this family cannot expect to enjoy what this family built. Mrs. Bello touched his arm. Think about what you are doing. I have thought about it. He faced Amara. If you remain married to Daniel, you will receive no shares in Bello Holdings. Gasps moved across the hall. Amara stared at him. You are using the company to control me. I am protecting it. From my husband? From your poor choices. Daniel stepped beside her. Sir, your company belongs to you. You may do whatever you wish with it. Chief Bello narrowed his eyes. I was not speaking to you, but your threat is about me. It is about my daughter choosing a man who has nothing. Daniel's face stayed calm. Then keep everything. Amara turned to him. Daniel. He looked at her. You already gave up enough for me today. You do not need to beg for what should never be used against you. Chief Bello pointed toward them. Hear me clearly, Amara. No shares, no seat on the board, no part of the family business, and no money from me. If you walk out with him, you walk out with nothing. The hall became silent. Amara looked at her mother, but Mrs. Bello lowered her eyes. She looked at Laura, who watched with an open mouth, and then at Victor, who stood near the back holding the white envelope. At last, Amara faced her father. You keep saying I will have nothing, but I still have my name, my hands, and the man I chose. Chief Bello's face hardened. Do not come back when love fails you. Amara took Daniel's hand. Love has not failed me today. My family has. The words struck the room like a slap. Chief Bello lowered the microphone, but his anger did not leave his face. Daniel looked at Amara with quiet pride. while the guests stared at the couple they had mocked all day. Then Daniel's black phone began to vibrate inside his bag once more, but this time he did not reach for it. Daniel's black phone kept vibrating inside his bag while the hall stayed silent. Amara looked toward it. "Are you going to answer that?" she asked. "Not here," Daniel said. Chief Bello laughed. "A man with secrets always needs a quiet room." The phone stopped, but Chief Bello's phone began to ring. He frowned at the name on the screen and answered. "Yes, Mr. Grant. I was not expecting your call today." As he listened, his shoulders dropped. "What do you mean the deal is off?" he asked. Mrs. Bello moved closer. "What happened?" He raised one finger, telling her to wait. No, you cannot cancel now," Chief Bello said into the phone. "The papers are ready. We agreed to sign on Monday." Daniel watched him closely. "Mr. Grant, please listen. Bello Holdings spent money based on your promise." The call ended and Chief Bello stared at the screen. Mrs. Bello touched his arm. "Tell me what happened." "Our largest investor has pulled out," he said. A low whisper spread through the room. Amara forgot her anger for a moment. "The Grant deal?" Chief Bello looked at her. "Yes, but that deal was going to save the company." "I know what it was going to do." Victor hurried forward. "How much money are we talking about?" Chief Bello did not answer at first. Then he lowered his voice. "Enough to keep our factories open." Amara's face changed. "What happens without it?" Her father looked toward the tables, as if he hated that so many people were listening. "We may not have enough money to pay everyone next month." Mrs. Bello covered her mouth. "How many workers?" "More than 600. The guests stopped laughing. Several business partners checked their phones. Victor touched Chief Bello's shoulder. "I can fix this." Daniel watched him. Chief Bello looked up. "How?" "My company can provide a short loan." "How soon?" "By tomorrow." Amara stepped closer. "What will you ask for?" Victor frowned. "This is about saving your father." Chief Bello turned to Victor. "What are your terms?" Victor glanced at Daniel before answering. "Only a fair share of Bello Holdings." "How much?" 40%. Chief Bello's eyes widened. "That is not a loan. That is taking my company." "It is keeping your company alive." Amara shook her head. "Father, do not agree." Chief Bello snapped. "You gave up your place in the company. This no longer concerns you. It concerns the workers." Victor smiled. "The workers will lose everything if I do nothing." Daniel finally spoke. "How much money does the company need?" Chief Bello turned on him. "You could not even arrive in a proper car. Do not speak about my business." Daniel stayed calm. "I asked a simple question, and I do not need your advice." Victor laughed. "Maybe he wants to offer the coins in his pocket." Daniel looked at Chief Bello. "If 600 people may lose their jobs, pride should not stop you from hearing every idea." Chief Bello stepped toward him. "What idea could you have?" Daniel did not answer. Amara watched him. "Daniel." His black phone vibrated again. Daniel reached into the bag and took it out. Before he could answer, Victor pointed at the phone. "That is a costly phone for a poor man." Daniel looked at him. "You notice objects quickly." "I notice lies." Chief Bello spoke over them. "This is not the time." "No," Daniel said. "It is not." He turned to Amara. "I need 5 minutes." "Why?" "To take this call." "Is it connected to what is happening?" Daniel paused. "It may be." Chief Bello laughed bitterly. "Now he wants us to believe he can save the company." Daniel's face did not change. "I did not say that." "You did not need to." Victor walked closer. "Take your call. Perhaps your scooter repairman has good business advice." Daniel looked at Amara. "I will come back." She nodded slowly. 5 minutes. He entered the side room, and Amara followed him to the door. "Daniel." He stopped before closing it. "Do not shut me out again," she said. "I am trying to protect something." "What?" "People who did nothing wrong." She studied his face. "Is this about my father's workers?" Daniel looked toward the hall. "Give me 5 minutes." Then he closed the door. Inside the room, he answered the phone. A man spoke at once. "Mr. Cole, Grant has canceled the deal exactly as we expected." Daniel walked to the window. "Why?" "Someone offered him more money to walk away." "Who?" "We are still checking, but the payment came through a company linked to Victor Hale." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Victor?" "Yes, sir." Through the glass, Daniel saw Victor pretending to comfort Chief Bello. "What is the condition of Bello Holdings?" Daniel asked. "Bad. They have enough money for less than 3 weeks. If the banks refuse another loan, the factories will close." "And the workers?" 643 people could lose their jobs. Daniel closed his eyes for one moment. "That will not happen." "Should we buy the company?" "No." "Should we expose Victor?" "Not yet." There was a short silence. "What do you want us to do?" "Move enough money into a safe account to cover 3 months of wages, rent, power, and factory costs." "That is a large amount." "I know." "Under whose name?" Daniel looked at the closed door. "Use the Hope Worker Fund." "Sir, that fund does not exist." "It does now." "And Bello Holdings?" "Do not tell Chief Bello where the money came from. Send the offer through the workers' bank. Make it look like a short rescue plan with no shares taken." The man sounded confused. "You want to save the company after the way he treated you?" "I want to save the workers." They did not laugh at me. "What about Victor's offer?" "Let him make it." "Sir, if Chief Bello signs with him, Victor could gain control before our money arrives. Then make sure our offer reaches the company first." "How soon?" "Within 1 hour." "Yes, sir." Daniel lowered his voice. "And continue with the other plan. The cars are ready. Keep them outside the city until I call." "Yes, Mr. Cole." Daniel ended the call. Saving the company would protect hundreds of families and a man who had just rejected him. A soft knock came at the door. "Daniel," Amara said from outside, "your 5 minutes are almost over." He placed the phone in his pocket and opened the door. Amara looked at him. "Who were you talking to?" "A man who works with me." "Did you help my father?" "I helped the people who may lose their jobs." Her eyes widened. "How?" "I cannot explain yet." "Daniel, stop saying that. I know it is hard." "Hard?" Her voice shook. "My father may lose his company. Hundreds of people may lose their jobs. And you are standing here telling me you did something but cannot tell me what." Daniel lowered his voice. "I moved money where it needs to go." Amara stared at him. "How much money?" "Enough." "Enough for what?" "To keep the factories open for a while." She stepped back. "You have that kind of money?" Before he could answer, the wedding planner rushed over. "Amara, your father needs you. Victor is asking him to sign something." Victor stood at the main table with papers spread before Chief Bello. "This is the only way," Victor said. "Sign now, and I will send the money before morning." Chief Bello's hand shook around a pen. Amara reached the table. "Do not sign." Victor looked angry. "You do not understand business. I understand that you are trying to take almost half his company. I am trying to save it." Daniel stood behind Amara. Victor saw him and smiled. "Did your secret call solve everything?" Daniel said nothing. Chief Bello lifted the pen. "I have no other choice." At that moment his phone rang. He answered quickly. "Yes." "What bank?" he asked. He listened and sat down. "How much?" Mrs. Bello leaned close. "What is it?" "No shares?" he asked into the phone. "No control of the company?" Victor's smile faded. Chief Bello listened for another moment. "Send the papers now." The call ended. "What happened?" Amara asked. Her father looked stunned. "A new worker rescue fund has offered enough money to cover 3 months of wages and factory costs." Victor grabbed the papers from the table. "That is impossible." Chief Bello looked at him. "They want no shares." "Then it is a trick. They are using the workers' bank. The money has already been approved." Amara slowly turned toward Daniel. He stood quietly beside her, his hands empty and his face calm. She remembered his words in the hallway. I moved money where it needs to go. Daniel, she whispered. He met her eyes but said nothing. Across the room, Victor stared at him too. For the first time, Victor was no longer laughing. Victor stared at Daniel as if he had seen a ghost. The white envelope still hung from his hand, but his fingers had stopped moving. You did this, he said. Daniel remained beside Amara. Did what? You arranged that money. Chief Bello looked from Victor to Daniel. Do not be foolish. He could not arrange a taxi, yet you think he arranged millions? Amara did not laugh. She kept her eyes on Daniel. He told me he moved money where it needed to go. Mrs. Bello stepped closer. Daniel, is that true? Daniel looked at Amara first. Her face was full of questions, and silence would hurt her more. I made one call, he said. Chief Bello gave a cold laugh. One call? Yes. And we are supposed to believe one call from you saved 600 workers? I did not ask you to believe anything. Victor pushed past a chair. Stop speaking in riddles. Who are you? Daniel's black phone began to ring again. This time, the sound cut through the quiet room like an alarm. He took it from his pocket and answered. Yes. A man spoke on the other end. Daniel listened without looking away from Victor. Bring them in, he said. He ended the call. Victor frowned. Bring who in? Daniel slipped the phone back into his pocket. You will see. A deep sound came from outside. It seemed like thunder as more engines joined it. The guests moved toward the windows. One black car stopped at the hotel entrance. Then another came behind it. The third followed. Soon, a line of shining cars filled the road. The room went still. Laura pressed her face close to the glass. Who are all those people? People stepped from the cars. Some wore dark suits and carried files. Hotel workers rushed outside, opening doors and clearing the entrance. Chief Bello walked toward the window. That is Mr. Adeyemi. Mrs. Bello joined him. The bank owner? Yes. Another man stepped from the next car. Chief Bello's voice dropped. And that is Helen Cross. Victor turned sharply. The head of Cross Energy? A third person appeared, followed by two assistants. Someone near the back whispered, That is the minister's business advisor. The guests now pushed toward the entrance. Phones rose, but nobody smiled. Chief Bello faced the hotel manager. Why are these people here? The manager shook his head. I do not know, sir. They did not speak to me. Daniel picked up his bag. Amara caught his arm. Daniel, what is happening? He looked at her. The truth is coming inside. The doors opened. Mr. Adeyemi entered first. He was an older man with gray hair and a careful walk. Chief Bello rushed forward with both hands stretched out. Mr. Adeyemi, this is a great surprise. The banker walked past him. Chief Bello froze. Helen Cross entered behind him. Victor smiled and moved toward her. Helen, I did not know you were invited. She ignored him too. The powerful visitors entered the hall. None went toward Chief Bello, Victor, or the main table. They walked straight toward Daniel. Everyone moved aside. Mr. Adeyemi stopped in front of Daniel and lowered his head while the entire room watched. Good afternoon, Mr. Cole. Helen Cross did the same. Congratulations on your wedding, sir. Others followed. Congratulations, Mr. Cole. It is an honor to be here, sir. We came as soon as your office called. Shocked whispers moved through the hall. Amara stared at Daniel. Why are they calling you, sir? Daniel turned, but Victor spoke first. This is some kind of show. Mr. Adeyemi looked at him. Be careful how you speak. Victor laughed, though the sound was weak. You expect us to believe this man is important because a few people bowed? Helen Cross stepped forward. A few people? Victor's face tightened. She pointed toward Daniel. This man controls business deals larger than your entire company. Chief Bello shook his head. That is impossible. Mr. Adeyemi faced him. No, Chief Bello. What is impossible is that you invited half the business world to a wedding and failed to recognize the richest man in the room. A glass fell from someone's hand and broke against the floor. Amara barely heard it. She kept staring at Daniel. Richest man. Daniel's eyes stayed on her. Amara, I was going to tell you. When? Today. After everyone laughed at you? I needed to know something first. Chief Bello stepped closer. What exactly do you own? A tall woman in a dark suit entered with a silver case. She stopped beside him. Sir, the board is waiting for your final word. Daniel nodded. They can wait. Chief Bello looked at her. Who are you? My name is Grace Morgan. I am the head lawyer for Cole Global. The room exploded with voices. Cole Global? That cannot be him. Nobody knows what the owner looks like. I heard he lives outside the country. Grace waited for the noise to fall. Mr. Daniel Cole is the founder and main owner of Cole Global. Victor's face lost all color. Cole Global owned banks, hotels, factories, farms, shipping companies, and technology firms across several countries. Its name appeared on buildings, roads, and large projects. Newspapers often spoke about its hidden founder, but Daniel rarely allowed his picture to be taken. Chief Bello's mouth opened, but no words came out. Amara stepped away from Daniel. You own Cole Global? Yes. You told me you managed business matters. I do. You made it sound like you worked in a small office. Daniel's voice became gentle. I know. Mrs. Bello held onto a chair. How rich are you? Daniel did not answer. Mr. Adeyemi answered for him. Rich enough that no person in this room should have laughed at his scooter, though his money should not be the reason you respect him. Laura slowly lowered her phone. Chief Bello looked at the guests who had mocked Daniel. Many now avoided his eyes. Victor forced a smile. Anyone can claim to own a company. Grace opened the silver case and removed several papers. These are signed company records. Would you like to read them? Victor did not move. She continued. The Hope Worker Fund that saved Bello Holdings was opened this afternoon under Mr. Cole's order. The full amount came from one of his private accounts. Chief Bello looked at Daniel. You saved my company? I protected your workers. After everything I said to you? Daniel's jaw tightened. They did not say those things. Mrs. Bello began to cry quietly. A young man rushed into the hall carrying a tablet. He stopped beside Grace. Sir, the reports you requested are ready. Daniel nodded. Keep them secure. Victor stared at the tablet. What reports? Daniel looked at him. You seem nervous. I am not nervous. Then stop asking. The same guests who had laughed at Daniel now began moving closer. One man straightened his jacket. Mr. Cole, I hope you understood that my comments were only jokes. A woman smiled too quickly. We always knew Amara had chosen well. Daniel looked at them without warmth. 10 minutes ago, you called me useless. The woman's smile vanished. Laura came forward slowly. Daniel, we are family now. Amara turned to her. You said our love would not last longer than his scooter. I was trying to make everyone laugh. You did. Laura looked at Daniel. I am sorry. He gave no answer. Chief Bello moved closer, his voice suddenly soft. My son, there has been a terrible mistake. Amara looked at him in disbelief. My son. Chief Bello ignored her. You should have told us who you were. Daniel's face hardened. Would you have treated me better? Of course. That is the problem. No one spoke. Outside, more cars continued to arrive. The old blue scooter still stood beside them, small and dusty among machines worth more than many homes. Victor looked through the window and then back at Daniel. You planned all of this, he said. Daniel met his eyes. I planned to arrive and marry Amara. You wanted to shame us. No, you did that yourselves. Grace stepped beside Daniel. Sir, the press has gathered outside. They want confirmation that the founder of Cole Global was married here today. The guests gasped again. Amara looked at Daniel, no longer seeing the simple man she thought she knew. He was still wearing the plain suit. His old shoes had not changed. Yet the strongest people in the city waited for his words. Daniel held out his hand to her. Amara, I know you deserve answers. She looked at his hand but did not take it. Not here, she said. Not in front of all these people. Daniel lowered his hand. Chief Bello tried to speak, but Daniel raised one finger. No more, Daniel said. The room obeyed. For the first time that day, nobody laughed at the man who had arrived on the old scooter. Daniel looked around the hall. No one laughed now. The people who had mocked his clothes tried to stand closer, but he ignored their sudden smiles. He turned to Amara. There is a quiet room upstairs. We can speak there. Amara folded her arms. You should have spoken before today. I know. That does not fix it. No, but the truth may help. She looked at the guests watching them. Her father stood with his head low. Her mother kept wiping her eyes. Victor had moved toward the back of the room, but his stare never left Daniel. Fine, Amara said. Let us talk. Daniel led her toward the stairs. Grace followed them for a few steps, but he raised a hand. No one comes with us. Yes, sir, Grace replied. Amara noticed how quickly the lawyer obeyed. It made the space between her and Daniel feel wider. They entered a small room above the hall. It had 2 chairs and a window facing the gate. Amara could see the old scooter between rows of black cars. Daniel closed the door. Amara stayed standing. Start from the beginning. He placed his jacket over a chair. My full name is Daniel Elijah Cole. I started Cole Global 12 years ago. 12 years? She asked. You were barely an adult. I was 20. How? With a small delivery company, 1 borrowed truck, and more debt than sense. Amara shook her head. You told me you worked with business owners. I did. You did not tell me you owned the businesses. No. Why? Daniel pulled out a chair for her, but she did not sit. Because the moment people learn my name, they stop seeing me. That makes no sense. It will. He sat down. When Cole Global became successful, people who ignored me suddenly wanted to be my friends. Men laughed at bad jokes. Women said they loved me before knowing me. Amara's eyes narrowed. You think I would have done that? No. Then why did you hide it from me? Because I did not know that at first. So you tested me. Daniel looked down. Yes. She took a step back. Our whole relationship was a test? No. My feelings were real. But you watched me like I was applying for a job. That is not how it began. Then tell me how it began. Daniel lifted his eyes. The day we met, an old woman dropped her bag outside a store. Fruit rolled into the road. Everyone walked around her, but you helped. Amara remembered the day. Daniel had been wearing simple jeans and holding a paper cup. You were watching me? I was waiting for a taxi. Then you missed your bus because you stayed with her. I offered you a ride. On that scooter. Yes. You said it was the only thing you owned. I said it was the oldest thing I owned. Amara stared at him. That was clever. It was dishonest. Daniel did not defend himself. She sat down. What happened after your company became rich? I tried to live the way people expected. I bought large homes, expensive cars, and clothes I did not like. I went to events every night because my advisors said powerful people needed to see me. And women? Daniel paused. There were women. Amara's fingers tightened around the edge of the chair. They wanted Daniel Cole, the man in the newspapers, he continued. One woman brought a list of houses she wanted before our 3rd meeting. Another secretly called a reporter and told him we were engaged. We had never even discussed marriage. So you decided every woman was greedy? No. I decided I could not tell who was honest. That still does not give you the right to lie to me. You are right. The simple answer stopped her anger for a second. Daniel leaned forward. I met you while I was living quietly for a few months. I wanted to breathe without guards and cameras. I expected to return to my normal life. Then you kept talking to me. You were the one who asked for my number. And you refused. Amara wanted to smile but held it back. You were a stranger on a noisy scooter. You said my helmet smelled like onions. It did. My driver had carried food in it. She stared at him. Your driver? He nodded. Amara covered her face for a moment. Even the helmet had a secret. I bought a new one after that. You should have bought honesty. I should have. Silence filled the room. Reporters gathered below while guards held them back. Amara looked at the scooter. Why keep that old thing if you have all those cars? Daniel followed her eyes. It belonged to my father. He bought it when I was 10, Daniel continued. We had almost nothing. My mother had died and he worked 2 jobs. In the morning, he carried bread to shops. At night, he cleaned offices. He used that scooter in the rain, under the hot sun, and even when he was sick. Some days, it broke down and we pushed it home together. When I wanted to leave school and work, he refused. He said I would build something better with my mind. He sold his tools to pay my first school fee. What happened to him? He died before Cole Global became successful. Amara's anger softened, but it did not disappear. I am sorry. He nodded. The scooter is the last thing I have that still feels like him. I repaired it many times. I could replace every part, but I never wanted to replace the whole thing. Why bring it today? Because my father once told me that the person I married should know the boy who pushed that scooter, not only the man who owns hundreds of cars. Amara looked outside. Did you expect people to laugh? I thought some might. So this was planned. The scooter was planned. The cruelty was their choice. And you said nothing while they attacked you. I needed to see how people treated me when they thought I had nothing. Amara stood again. Including me. Daniel rose too. Yes. That is the part one cannot accept. I understand. No, you do not. I stood against my father. I gave up my job, my home, and my place in the company. I thought we were stepping into a hard life together. I would never have allowed you to suffer. But I did not know that. I made my choice while afraid. That is why your choice mattered. Amara's eyes filled with tears. Do you hear yourself? You are praising me for passing a test I never agreed to take. Daniel's face fell. You are right. You keep saying that. Because I was wrong. Then why wait until the wedding? Daniel moved closer but did not touch her. I was afraid that telling you earlier would change something between us. It has changed something now. I know. She wiped one tear away. Did you ever plan to marry me as Daniel, the poor man, and keep hiding everything? No. The papers in Grace's case include my full records and a letter for you. I planned to tell you after the ceremony. After I could no longer walk away without shame. Daniel looked struck by the words. I did not think of it that way. You should have. Yes. Amara looked at him for a long time. Why me? Because you were kind when nobody was watching. Because you listened when I spoke about my father. Because you did not ask what I earned on our first, second, or 10th meeting. Because when the scooter broke down one night, you helped me push it for 2 miles and laughed the whole way. I was angry that night. You laughed after you called it a blue goat. She almost smiled. Daniel continued, I did not fall in love with you because you passed a test. I fell in love with you because every day with you felt honest. Then I ruined that honesty by hiding too much. A knock sounded at the door. Sir, Grace called from outside. The press is demanding a statement. Daniel did not answer her. He kept looking at Amara. Tell them to wait. Grace paused. Yes, sir. Amara walked toward the door, then stopped. I need time. You can have it. I am not saying everything is fine. I know. I married the man on the scooter. I do not yet know the man all those people bowed to. Daniel's eyes were full of pain. They are the same man. Then prove it without another test. She opened the door and stepped into the hallway. Daniel remained by the window. Below him, the old scooter stood under the lights, holding the memory of the poor boy he had once been and the secret that had nearly cost him the woman he loved. Amara walked down the hallway with tears still warm on her face. She had only taken a few steps when Grace came toward her holding the silver case. Mrs. Cole, are you all right? Amara almost corrected the name. Then she remembered that she had married Daniel less than an hour ago. I do not know, she said. Before Amara could answer, loud voices rose from the stairs. Victor was arguing with one of Daniel's guards. Get out of my way! Victor shouted. "I was invited to this wedding." The guard blocked him. Mr. Cole asked everyone to remain downstairs. Victor saw Amara. "Tell this man to move." "Why are you coming upstairs?" she asked. "Your husband lied to you. That is between Daniel and me." A door opened behind Amara. Daniel came into the hallway. "What is happening?" he asked. Daniel looked at the guard. "Let him pass." Victor walked forward. "You plan to embarrass everyone here." Daniel shook his head. "You keep blaming me for what you did." Victor's eyes moved. "What I did?" Grace opened the silver case. "Sir, the final reports are ready." Daniel looked at Amara. "You asked me to prove that the man you married and the man they bowed to are the same person. I need to show you something." "Show me," she said. Daniel led them into a small meeting room. Grace entered with Amara. Victor tried to follow. Daniel stopped at the door. "Come in. I want you to hear everything." Inside, Grace placed a tablet and several papers on the table. Grace opened the first file. At 8 this morning, a black wedding car was sent to Mr. Cole's home. Amara looked at Daniel. "There was a car?" "Yes, the scooter was meant to follow later. I planned to show it to you after the ceremony." "Then why did you arrive on it?" Grace turned the tablet toward her. A picture showed a black car beside a road. Its front wheel leaned at a strange angle. "The car broke down 12 miles from the hotel," Grace said. "Two important parts had been cut." Amara stared at the picture. "Cut?" "Yes, it was not an accident." Victor folded his arms. "Cars break down every day." Grace opened another picture. "These marks were made by a tool." Daniel looked at Victor. "Your man was there." Grace played a short video. It showed a parking area behind Daniel's home. A man in a cap moved toward the wedding car before sunrise. He bent near the front wheel and stayed there for several minutes. His jacket carried the name of Victor's transport company. Amara turned toward Victor. "Who is he?" "I do not know." Grace touched the screen, and a second picture appeared. It showed the same man standing beside Victor outside an office. Victor's face tightened. "Many people work for me." "His name is Paul Reed," Grace said. "He has been your private driver for 4 years." Victor pointed at the screen. "A picture proves nothing." Grace opened a message report. "At 6:30 this morning, you sent him the address of Mr. Cole's home." Victor stepped back. "That is private. You used a company phone." Amara felt cold. "Why would you damage the car?" Victor looked at her. "I did not." Daniel's voice stayed calm. "You wanted me to arrive late or not arrive at all." "That is a lie. You knew I would use the scooter if the car failed." Amara looked between them. "How did he know about the scooter?" Daniel answered. "He saw me riding it 2 months ago." Victor said. "Anyone could have seen you." "But not everyone followed me home," Daniel replied. Amara stared at Victor. "You followed him?" "I wanted to know who you were marrying." "You wanted something you could use against him." Victor's face grew red. "Your father asked me to check him." Chief Bellow's voice came from the doorway. "I asked you to learn about his work. I did not ask you to damage a car." Chief Bellow and Mrs. Bellow stood outside. "I wanted answers, not a crime," Chief Bellow said. Mrs. Bellow looked at her husband. "Is that true?" Chief Bellow lowered his eyes. "I thought Daniel was hiding something." "So you sent Victor after him?" Amara asked. "I made a mistake." Daniel looked at Grace. "Continue." Grace opened another file. 3 weeks ago, a company linked to Victor paid Mr. Grant to leave the Bellow Holdings deal. Chief Bellow stepped into the room. "What?" Grace placed a bank paper on the table. "The payment came through Hale Trade Services. Victor owns that company." Chief Bellow grabbed the paper. "You caused Grant to pull out?" "The record is here," Grace said. Victor looked at Chief Bellow. "I was trying to help you. By destroying my deal? Grant's money would only delay the end. Your company is failing. So you created the crisis and then offered me a loan," Chief Bellow said. "I offered a way out. You asked for 40% of my company. I was taking a risk. Daniel stepped forward. There was no risk. You planned to gain control after the company lost its investor. Victor pointed at him. You buy weak companies too. I do not make them weak first. Amara's voice shook. Did you pay Grant? Victor did not answer. Look at me, she said. Did you pay him to leave my father's company? I did what was needed. Amara stepped back as if he had struck her. Chief Bello crushed the paper in his hand. 600 workers could have lost their jobs. They would have kept their jobs after I took control. And my father? Amara asked. Victor looked at Chief Bello. He would keep a small place on the board. Chief Bello rushed forward, but Daniel caught his arm. Let me go, Chief Bello shouted. He tried to steal everything I built. Daniel held him back. Do not make this worse. Victor fixed his jacket. You all needed me. No, Amara said. You needed us to be afraid. Victor looked at her. I did it for you. You damaged Daniel's car for me? I wanted you to see him as weak. You attacked my father's company for me? I wanted to save it and give you the life you deserved. Amara's eyes filled again. You wanted to own everything around me, including me. Victor slammed his hand on the table. I loved you before he came. You never loved me. You wanted to win. Grace closed the tablet. We also have the driver's statement. He has agreed to speak to the police. You called the police? Victor asked. Not yet. I wanted Amara and her family to hear the truth first, Daniel said. Chief Bello pointed at him. Call them now. Daniel looked at Amara. That choice is not mine alone. Victor stepped toward her. Amara, listen to me. Everyone knew I was the better choice. Better because you had money? She asked. Yes. Daniel spoke softly. That was the only thing you believed made you better. Victor looked at Daniel's plain suit. Now you can pretend money does not matter because you have more than anyone. Amara answered before Daniel could. Daniel hid his wealth and that hurt me. But when my father's workers were in danger, he helped them. You used your wealth to place those workers in danger. Victor's face twisted. So you forgive him? I did not say that. The words hit both men. Amara looked at Daniel. You lied because you feared I might love your money. Victor lied because he wanted power. Both of you made choices for me without asking me. Daniel lowered his head. You are right. Victor laughed. There he goes again, acting humble. At least he can admit when he is wrong, Amara said. 2 police officers appeared at the end of the hallway. Grace had called them while Victor was speaking. Victor looked around. You said you had not called them. Daniel's eyes stayed cold. I had not. Grace did. The officers entered and asked Victor to step away from the table. He pointed at Amara. Tell them this is a family matter. It stopped being a family matter when you tried to destroy hundreds of lives, she replied. As they led him out, Victor looked back at Daniel. This is not over. For today it is, Daniel said. Victor looked at Amara, but she turned away. No one there tried to stop them, and no one could pretend that Victor was innocent any longer now. Chief Bello sat heavily in a chair. Mrs. Bello stood beside him, silent and pale. Daniel remained near the window, giving Amara space. The truth was now in the open. Victor had caused the broken car and the crisis that almost destroyed her father's company. But as Amara looked at Daniel, one hard question still remained. After everything both men had hidden, who could she truly trust? Amara kept looking at Daniel while the police led Victor down the stairs. The hallway slowly became quiet, but the silence felt heavier than the shouting that had filled it before. Chief Bello sat with both hands on his knees. Mrs. Bello stood beside him. Neither of them knew what to say. Daniel did not move closer to Amara. You asked who you can trust, he said. You do not have to answer today. Amara looked at him. You keep giving me time now, but you did not give me the truth before. I know, and my family only began to respect you after they saw your cars. Daniel turned toward Chief Bello. That is what I am wondering too. Chief Bello raised his head. Daniel, I was wrong. Daniel's face stayed calm. About what? About you. Because I am rich? Chief Bello opened his mouth, then closed it. Daniel stepped nearer. If I owned nothing but that scooter, would you still be sorry? Mrs. Bello began to cry again. We were afraid for our daughter. You laughed while she was being hurt, Daniel said. I did not laugh. You stood beside people who did. Mrs. Bello lowered her eyes. Chief Bello rose from the chair. I judged you too quickly. You judged me by my clothes, my car, and what you thought was in my bank account. I wanted Amara to have a safe life. Daniel's voice became firm. A safe life with Victor? Chief Bello looked toward the stairs where Victor had been taken away. I did not know what he was doing, he said. You knew how he treated people. I thought he was proud, not dangerous. You watched him shame me. Chief Bello breathed in slowly. Yes, and you joined him. Chief Bello looked at Amara. I thought I was protecting you. Amara shook her head. You were protecting your pride. Her father looked hurt. Amara, you cared more about what the guests thought than how I felt. I made a mistake. No, father. You made many choices. You invited Victor. You asked him to investigate Daniel. You threatened to remove me from the company. Then you called Daniel your son the moment you learned he was rich. Chief Bello's shoulders fell. Mrs. Bello reached for Amara's hand, but Amara stepped back. Please, her mother said. We are still your family. You told me love would not feed me. I was scared. Would you be scared now if Daniel were poor? Mrs. Bello could not answer. Daniel turned toward Grace. Please ask everyone downstairs to leave the hotel. Chief Bello looked surprised. This is still my daughter's wedding. Daniel faced him. The wedding ended when the guests turned it into a place of shame. Amara spoke softly. Let them go. Grace nodded and left. Chief Bello rubbed his forehead. What do you want from us? Daniel answered, Honesty. I said I am sorry. I heard you. I am asking why. Chief Bello looked through the window at the black cars outside. I am sorry because I treated a good man badly. How do you know I am good? You saved my workers. You did not know that when I arrived. No. If I had not saved them, would your answer be different? Chief Bello remained silent. Daniel nodded. That silence is your answer. Mrs. Bello stepped forward. Then tell us how to make this right. Daniel looked at Amara. That is not for me to decide. Amara walked to the table where her wedding flowers had been placed. The bright flowers now looked tired. She touched one petal, then turned toward her parents. I do not need you to bow to Daniel, she said. I need you to understand why what you did was wrong. Chief Bello nodded quickly. I understand. No, you understand that he is powerful. That is not the same thing. Her father looked down. Amara continued. You believed a poor man could be insulted because he had nothing to give you. You believed money made Victor better. Now you know Daniel has more money than Victor, and suddenly you want Daniel close. Chief Bello's eyes filled with shame. What should I say? He asked. Say what you would say if Daniel truly owned only that old scooter. Chief Bello looked at Daniel for a long moment. Then he walked toward him and stopped. If the scooter was all you owned, I should still have welcomed you because my daughter chose you, he said. I should have asked how you treated her, not how much money you had. I should have judged your heart, not your clothes. Daniel watched him carefully. Chief Bello continued, I do not deserve your trust today. I will not ask you to call me father. But I am sorry for every word I used to make you feel small. Daniel gave a slow nod. That sounds honest. Mrs. Bello wiped her cheeks. I am sorry too. I saw Amara standing alone, and I still told her to leave you. I was afraid of losing comfort. I should have been afraid of losing my daughter. Amara's anger softened, but she did not run into her mother's arms. I need time, she said. Mrs. Bello nodded. I will wait. Laura appeared at the end of the hallway. She had removed her shoes and held them in one hand. Her face was red from crying. May I speak? She asked. Amara looked at her. Speak. Laura walked closer. I made jokes because I wanted people to notice me. When everyone laughed, I felt important. Daniel said nothing. Laura looked at him. I am sorry I used your pain to make myself look funny. Would you be sorry if I were poor? Daniel asked. Laura swallowed. I want to say yes, but I do not know. I only saw how ugly I looked after I learned the truth. That is more honest than the other answers, Daniel said. Laura nodded with tears in her eyes. I will do better. Amara looked around the room at the people who had suddenly learned how cruel they had been. Then she noticed the gold necklace around her own neck. It was a wedding gift from her father. The stones were worth more than many workers earned in years. She lifted her hands and removed it. Mrs. Bello frowned. What are you doing? Amara placed the necklace on the table. Then she removed her diamond earrings and gold bracelets. Chief Bello stepped forward. Those belong to you. No, they belong to the life you wanted me to choose. Amara, you do not have to prove anything. Yes, I do, but not to you. She turned toward Daniel. He watched her with worry. Amara slipped off the costly ring her father had given her before the ceremony and placed it beside the necklace. She kept only the simple wedding ring Daniel had put on her finger. Daniel spoke quietly. You do not need to give those things away. I am not doing this because money is bad. Then why? Because I need you to hear me without any doubt. She walked toward him. When I stood outside and took your hand, I thought the scooter was all you had, she said. I believed we might live in one small room. I believed I might have to work 2 jobs. I was afraid, but I still chose you. Daniel's eyes became wet. Amara continued, I did not choose Cole Global. I did not choose the black cars or the people who bowed. I chose the man who listened when I spoke, brought soup when I was sick, and stayed with me when my father shouted. Daniel reached for her, then stopped. Are you saying you forgive me? I am saying I love you. Forgiveness will take work. He nodded. I will do the work. No more tests. Never again. No more hidden phones. I will show you everything. No more telling me later when you can tell me now. I promise. Amara looked through the window at the scooter. If that old scooter were truly everything you owned, I would still be your wife. Daniel finally understood that her love had never depended on his money. The simple touch did not erase the hurt between them, but it gave them a place to begin. Chief Bello watched their joined hands and seemed to understand that he could not buy his way back into their trust. Mrs. Bello quietly picked up the jewelry and placed it inside its box, not to return it yet, but to keep it safe until Amara decided what to do. Laura stepped away without making another joke. For once, nobody in the room really cared about the cars, the company, or the money waiting outside. He held out his hand, not as a rich man asking to be trusted, but as the same quiet man she had chosen outside. This time, Amara took it. Daniel closed his fingers around Amara's hand, and for the first time that day, she did not feel trapped between 2 worlds. She was still hurt, but she was no longer alone. Around them, the costly flowers, gold chairs, and shining lights felt less important than the quiet promise in Daniel's eyes. Chief Bello cleared his throat. What happens to my company now? Daniel turned toward him. The rescue money stays. Chief Bello looked surprised. Even after everything? The workers still need their jobs. And the company? You will keep control of it, but there will be new rules. Chief Bello's face tightened. What rules? No hidden loans. No risky deals without a full report. No using workers as numbers on a page. Chief Bello nodded slowly. That is fair. Daniel looked toward Grace, who had returned to the room. Set up a team to check every account. The workers must be paid first. Yes, sir, Grace said. Chief Bello looked ashamed. You are saving what I almost lost. Daniel shook his head. I am giving you time. What you do with that time will show whether you deserve it. Mrs. Bello touched her husband's arm. We will do better. Daniel did not answer. He had heard many promises that day. Downstairs, the guests were leaving in small groups. Some walked quickly because they were ashamed. Others stayed near the doors, hoping Daniel might speak to them. A man who had laughed at the scooter stepped forward. Mr. Cole, I own a building company. Perhaps we can meet next week. Daniel looked at him. Why? The man smiled. To discuss business. You did not want to speak with me this morning. I did not know who you were. You knew I was a person. The man's smile disappeared. Daniel walked past him. A woman hurried over. Mrs. Cole, your wedding was lovely. Amara stopped. You called my husband a street beggar. The woman looked around. I was only repeating what someone else said. You chose to repeat it. The woman lowered her head and moved away. At the main doors, the hotel cleaners stood beside the walls. They had watched the guests laugh, but none of them had joined in. One young cleaner had even brought Daniel water when the scooter stopped outside. Daniel walked to him. What is your name? Samuel, sir. Thank you for the water. Samuel looked shocked. It was only water. It was kindness when others were cruel. Daniel asked Grace to write down Samuel's name. Then he thanked the guards, cooks, drivers, and servers who had worked through the trouble without insulting anyone. Amara watched him and smiled. This is the man I married. Daniel looked at her. I hope I can become the man you thought I was. You can start by never testing me again. I heard that very clearly. The next morning, Daniel and Amara did not wake inside a palace. Amara had refused to leave the hotel in one of the black cars. She stayed in a simple room with Daniel, where they talked until sunrise. When the sun rose, Daniel said, I want to give you the wedding we should have had. We are already married. I know. I mean a day without people trying to shame us. Amara sat beside him. No cameras. No cameras. No business leaders. Only the ones you truly want. No gold stage. Daniel smiled. I can live without a gold stage. Amara thought for a moment. Invite the workers. Which workers? All of them. The factory workers, hotel staff, drivers, cleaners, and the people who treated us like human beings before they knew your name. Daniel's smile grew. That sounds perfect. 1 week later, a second celebration was held in the open yard beside the oldest bellow factory. There were no tall gates, crystal lights, or red carpets. Long tables stood under white cloth covers. Children ran between the chairs while music played from simple speakers. The factory workers came with their families. Samuel came with his mother. The hotel cooks brought food, and the cleaners helped decorate the yard with flowers made from paper. Amara wore a plain white dress. Daniel wore the same dark suit from the first wedding, but the sleeves had been fixed. You kept the suit, Amara said. It survived the first wedding. So did we. Barely. She laughed and straightened his collar. Chief Bello and Mrs. Bello arrived without a line of guards. Chief Bello walked toward Daniel with a folder in his hands. What is that? Daniel asked. A new company plan, Chief Bello said. The workers will now receive part of the profit each year. Daniel opened the folder and read the first page. This was your idea? Amara helped. Amara smiled. He argued for 3 hours. Chief Bello looked at her. And lost. Daniel handed the folder back. This is a good start. Chief Bello nodded. I know trust will take time. It will. I am ready to earn it. Daniel held out his hand. Chief Bello shook it, but neither man pretended that one handshake had fixed everything. Laura arrived carrying a box of small cakes. I made these myself. Amara looked inside. Some were burnt at the edges. They looked dangerous, she said. Laura laughed, then quickly stopped. Was that cruel? No. This time it was true. They both smiled. During the meal, Daniel stood before the workers. He did not use a tall stage. He stood on the ground with everyone else. Many of you nearly lost your jobs because powerful people treated your lives like pieces in a game, he said. That should never have happened. The yard became quiet. The rescue money will keep the factories open, but money alone will not fix every problem. From today, workers will have people at every important meeting. No large choice will be made without someone speaking for the families who depend on this company. A woman near the front raised her hand. Does that mean we can tell Chief Bello when he is wrong? The crowd laughed. Chief Bello stood. Yes. Even when you enjoy it too much. The workers clapped. Daniel continued, "This company will not belong to one proud man. It will be built by everyone who works here." When he finished, the people did not bow. They surrounded him, shook his hand, and spoke to him like a man, not a king. That meant more to Daniel than the greetings from the powerful guests at the hotel. Later, Grace told him that Victor had been charged for damaging the car and trying to take control of Bello Holdings through lies. His company had also lost several deals after the truth became public. Should Cole Global buy his company? Grace asked. No, Daniel said. We could take it for a very low price. I do not want it. What about the guests who asked for meetings? Cancel them. All of them. Anyone who laughed at the workers, the hotel staff, or Amara can do business somewhere else. Grace nodded. Understood. Daniel looked across the yard at workers eating with their children. He remembered the grand hall, where people had measured him by a car. Here, nobody asked how much he owned. A boy waved a paper flower at him, and Daniel waved back. Amara saw the peace on his face and understood that this simple place had given him more joy than the shining rooms he controlled. As evening came, the workers gathered near the yard entrance. A soft engine sound came from behind the factory. Put, 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 put. The old blue scooter rolled into view. Amara covered her mouth. You repaired it. Daniel stopped in front of her. Both mirrors were now in place, the light was fixed, and the smoke was gone. The paint still had scratches, but Daniel had kept every mark he could. I repaired what was broken, he said. I did not replace what mattered. He handed her a helmet. Amara looked at her dress. You expect me to ride in this? You rode with me in the rain once. I was wearing trousers. I remember. The workers began cheering. Chief Bello walked over. There are 10 cars waiting. Amara placed the helmet on her head. Let them wait. She climbed onto the scooter behind Daniel and wrapped her arms around his waist. Daniel looked back. Are you ready, Mrs. Cole? Only if this blue goat gets us home. The scooter moved forward as the crowd laughed. But this laughter was warm. No one was mocking them now. They passed the black cars, the factory gates, and the people waving behind them. Daniel did not need to hide his wealth anymore, and Amara did not need his money to know his value. The richest man in the country left his wedding on an old scooter, carrying the one thing all his money could never buy. A woman who had chosen him when she believed he had nothing.